Hey, you guys, I know it's been a minute since you've heard from me, but I was having some issues with YouTube and some studio issues. That's why I'm doing a voiceover now. Let's get right into it. On January 14, 2021, Richard Sherman was arrested for domestic violence. Later that day, ESPN ran a story about his arrest. And the next day, during prime time, they ran another story. Within one day, there were over 10 sound bites about the story and the incident all over ESPN platforms. From day one, ESPN has covered this story more aggressively than they covered the Chad Wheeler story. Now, on January 23rd, 2021, Chad Wheeler was arrested on domestic violence charges. No major TV stations ran a story that day or after. There were very few stories. You might can see some on the internet, but no major news coverage of the Chad Wheeler arrest. A matter of fact, we may have never even heard of the story if it wasn't for Nate Burleson. Nate Burleson played in the NFL for 11 seasons with the Minnesota Vikings, the Seattle Seahawks, the Detroit Lions. He grew up in the Seattle area, so he might have some inside knowledge. But after his career, he became a host on the NFL Network. And on January 27th of 2021, on the show called Good Morning Football, Nate risked his job and did something you rarely see in the media. You don't usually see this in the media. On live air, he went off script and mentioned the Chad Wheeler arrest. Now, I'm not going to show you what Nate did, but you can Google it all over YouTube or internet because, copyright issues, so we don't want to go into all that. But when Nate did that, he didn't tell his co-host what he was going to do. He didn't tell his producers what he was going to do. He risked his job because he knew the media, the sports media, would sweep this story under the rug. He knew that in his heart. Even when this story started picking up steam, the media basically squashed it. ESPN has, to this day, have not ran one feature story on it. I don't believe they have. Now, their excuses would be Chad Wheeler was not a prominent NFL player like a Richard Sherman. That's a bunch of lies. The thing is, when it comes to domestic violence cases involving professional athletes, the media has a playbook for certain athletes. They do. The first thing the media will do is try to paint a negative picture of the woman. In other words, try to make it look like it's her fault. She had it coming. Now, if they can't portray her in a negative light, then they go to plan B in the playbook. And plan B is just ignore the story, sweep it under the rug. That's why we know Chad Wheeler's ex-girlfriend, Aaliyah Taylor, must have had a squeaky clean background because they never tried to portray her negatively or say negative things about her. But trust me, they was looking for it. But they didn't find none, so they went straight to plan B and ignored this story. And that's what they do for certain athletes. The media has no accountability. I believe the biases embedded within the ESPN content are as problematic for society as the stereotypical images of violence that they show all the time of young black men. Until next time, peace.